What's Arthur Harrow's actual plan, and why is Stephen Grant being forced by Khonshu to share his body with mercenary Marc Spector? Keep watching for how Episode 2 of Moon Knight unravels the mystery. Warning, spoilers for Episode 2 of Moon Knight ahead. After Stephen grabs the scarab and flees Mark's storage container, he once again gets to experience Khonshu's unhealthy obsession with creepy hallways. This one at least ends in a fortunate fashion as Stephen almost literally bumps into Layla, the woman who'd been trying to reach Marc Spector. As it turns out, she's Mark's wife, and she's still angry about his disappearing act. This pretty much confirms that Layla is the MCU version of Marlene Alrauna. Though Steve faces some very understandable difficulties when he tries to convince Layla that he and Mark are separate personalities, the pair seems to warm up to each other. From the moment he notes that he wishes he could remember their times together, it's clear that the former museum gift shop worker has taken a liking to his alternate personality's wife. Could Moon Knight be setting up one of the strangest love triangles imaginable?
You're gonna get her killed, you hear me?
Of course, it's not like Layla needs a romance angle to be an interesting character. She's a skilled fighter and extremely capable on the field, especially compared to her comic book counterpart who's often stuck as the damsel in distress. Khonshu's even planning to turn her into its next avatar, a fate Mark is trying to protect her from. Khonshu knows this and uses it as a bargaining chip to get Mark to do its bidding. Many fans were no doubt delighted to see Moon Knight's slick Mr. Knight persona pop up in the marketing material. The character's stylish secondary supersuit finally turns up in this episode, but instead of being a separate personality or an alternate costume for Moon Knight proper, Mr. Knight is a custom version of the Moon Knight armor that manifests when Stephen uses it and assumes suit means a business suit. Mr. Knight seems to have the same super strength the Moon Knight costume grants, though its signature weapons are two Kali sticks instead of moon blades, and it lacks the cape. The comic book version of Mr. Knight is a more grounded affair than this mystical version, being little more than a white suit and a full-face mask that the character wears when he doesn't need to go full Moon Knight. It'll be interesting to see where Moon Knight plans to take this version of Mr. Knight if it shows up again. Besides, no one can say that the suit doesn't look good on Stephen, except for Mark, that is.
The ceremonial armor from Khonshu's temple, not Psycho Colonel Sanders.
Arthur Harrow continues to present himself as a well-meaning spiritual leader, but his calm demeanor and lentil soup do little to mask the sinister undertones he constantly sprinkles into the conversation, especially because said conversation starts with two of his minions abducting poor Stephen. Harrow is more connected to Stephen and Mark's predicament than anyone could have thought. The reason he's so familiar with the voice Stephen is hearing is because he too was once an avatar of Khonshu. At some point before Mark took over, Harrow left the moon god's service, but remains familiar enough with the deity's ways to accurately guess what it's saying.
I am real justice.
What's he saying now? I am real justice.
Since leaving Khonshu behind, Harrow's methods have become far more extreme. The reason he serves Amit is that he believes the goddess can destroy evildoers wholesale before they even commit their crimes. Harrow believes this method will force people to be good because they won't have the option to do evil. Stephen is not too happy about the deaths this Minority Report approach would cause, particularly those of children, despite Harrow's insistence that it would create a paradise. Disturbing as Harrow's plan is, the reveal that he used to be affiliated with Khonshu is arguably even more momentous. He specifically mentions the Fist of Vengeance title, which implies that Harrow has either donned the Moon Knight mantle or been a version of another Fist of Khonshu type character, like Hunter's Moon. Perhaps he'll eventually even don the cowl once more. Should that happen, the Khonshu-hating villain could potentially battle Moon Knight as a version of the corrupted, homicidal Shadow Knight. Our heroes manage to win the cool fight against the Jackal monsters, but their victory does little to end their troubles. Stephen has discovered a whole bunch of terrifying things Mark has done as Khonshu's avatar, and is hesitant to relinquish control to him. When Stephen finally does hand over control, Mark says he intends to stay the dominant personality until the Amit situation is over. For his part, Mark's genuinely sorry for his actions, and explains that his entire motivation is to pay his debt to Khonshu.
And my servitude is the price that I pay.
This might be easier said than done, though. Harrow opens a whole can of worms when he invites Stephen to think about Khonshu's motivations to choose a man struggling with mental health issues as his avatar, as well as whether the moon god could be the cause of said issues. He also outright tells Mark,
Trust me when I tell you, Khonshu is a liar. There's always one last thing.
Without question, Khonshu acts as unpleasantly as possible, throwing tantrums and lording over its avatar at every turn. For people who are familiar with the source material, this is a pretty bad sign, as is the moon god's apparent refusal to let go of Mark. Khonshu has spent a large portion of his comic book appearances as something of an antagonist who isn't above subjecting its avatar to prolonged mental torture. Sure, the lunar deity might technically fight the good fight right now, but if Mark manages to defeat Harrow in Egypt, what happens next? Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about Moon Knight are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.